Hi friends, I'm Scott Giles and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to spirituality, hypnotic coaching, and the hypnotic arts and sciences in general. If you want to know more about my professional work or sign up for my free newsletter, Power Lines, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Well, today I want to talk about a theme I've culled from the sayings of a former president of the United States who is fond of calling anyone he doesn't like a loser. Well, I'm going to stand that on its head and talk about what it might mean to consider yourself a winner. The Chicago Tribune newspaper today brings news that the mansion in the upscale Chicagoland suburb of Winnetka has been sold that was formerly owned by W. Clement Stone, once one of the richest men in America. The mansion sold for $12 million, if that matters, but it stood out to me because I have a complicated intellectual history with Clement Stone, who used to live there. First, I read his book written along with Napoleon Hill, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, when I was in grad school, and it was very influential on my thinking. Second, I actually met Mr. Stone while he was alive. I've been invited to the first meeting of the Napoleon Hill Foundation here in Chicago, and I made his acquaintance there. He was an impressive guy. And finally, the minister who taught me to preach, one of Chicago's greatest clergy of the 1930s and 50s, who I knew when he was in his 90s and still an active pulpiteer and still brilliant, the Reverend Dr. Preston Bradley. When Dr. Bradley's health failed, it was Clement Stone who paid for his long-term care, as they had been friends. Well, one of the things that Mr. Stone always used to say was that the fact that someone was alive was proof that they were already a winner. In order to have been born, one sperm cell out of something like 20 million had to win the race to fertilize the egg of the mother. So every person alive had already won a genetic lottery against 1 in 20 million odds. That made an impression on me. And it was a reoccurring theme in Clement Stone's work that people were often better than they felt themselves to be. And if you could just encourage them to have a positive attitude, a sense of pride, they could accomplish much. Now, not everything. We're talking about positive psychology here, not black magic. But people will tend to do better if they don't start out depressed or start out sad or with low self-confidence. So Stone argued that everyone should be thinking of themselves as a winner at baseline. Not bad advice, and something I believe he genuinely practiced in his personal life. There was a metaphor used by ancient philosophers, most prominently by the ancient Roman thinker Agrippinaeus. In Rome, people of the higher class wore a wraparound garment called a toga. The toga was mostly white, although certain classes, such as senators, might wear a toga with a border of a specific color. But Agrippinus pointed out that the white fabric really wasn't just white. Among all the white threads, the weaver would include one red thread every so often. Not enough to make the toga look pink, but that tiny touch of red made the white all the more brilliant and beautiful. I want to be like the red thread, he said. I want to be different in a way that enhances the whole. Well, it seems to me that people who think of themselves as winners, people who have confidence in themselves and some trust in their prospects or pride in their achievements, stand out. And they make our common society better. Clement Stone was right. You are a winner, and you have been from the first moment you existed. The odds were overwhelming that you would fail, but you did not. And if you're able to keep mindful of that, you will harvest more opportunities that you would have otherwise overlooked if your auspicious beginnings hadn't inspired you to think well of yourself. You are a winner. You stand out, just a bit perhaps, but you make everything better. Take some pride in that. Thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. You are invited to join me. It does help me if you let others know about my work and my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. And if I can be of help to you, feel free to reach out through email, my website, or my Patreon channel. Have a great week.